Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss part 7 of chapter 2. The name of the chapter is Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. This video is the last video for this chapter, and before this video I have made another 6 videos from this chapter, and from the 6 videos, the previous 6 videos, we came to know the parts of flower, the development of male and female gametophyte, microsporogenesis, megasporogenesis, pollination, the types of pollination, what is the significance of pollination, pollen-pistil interaction, fertilization event, and the post-fertilization event. In this video, we are going to discuss the fruit formation. This is the last part of this chapter. So let's start the today's class. The first thing is the seed dispersal. So the first slide contains the seed dispersal. So what is the basic meaning of the seed dispersal? What is the basic meaning of it? First you should know what is the basic definition of seed dispersal. So actually it is the movement. Actually this is the movement or transport of seed away from the parent plant, and this allows the seeds to spread in a large geographical area. So this is the basic thing, that this is important for your 1 marks question. This is very important for your 1 mark question. So what is the basic definition of seed dispersal? I am repeating again. This is the actually the movement or transport of seed away from the parent plant. So this is very important word, the parent plant. So this is called the dispersal. Dispersal means the movement. Dispersal means the transportation. So it's actually the seed movement or seed transportation from the parent plant, and this allows the seed to spread in a large geographical area. So each and everything has their own significance. So seed dispersal has also its own significance. The first thing is it's important. Why? Because if the seeds are not dispersed, then many germinating seedlings will grow very close to the parent plant. So it decreases the genetic combination. It actually decreases the genetic variety. It affects the growth of the plant body also. Actually, this results in competition between every one of the seedling as well as with the parent plant. So this competition actually is for light, space, water and nutrients. So it affects the growth of the newborn plant body. Okay, and that since all of these are important for the plants to grow, that's why growth of the plants is affected. So from this portion, this type of question may come that for the seed dispersal, if seed dispersal is not taking place at the plant's life cycle, then what will be the main effect, or the how growth of the plant body is affected for the seed dispersal. So then you can write in this way that this seed dispersal actually one kind of the important, because if the seeds are not dispersed properly, then many germinating seedlings will grow very close to the parent plant. Then what will be the consequence? Actually this results in competition between every one of the seedling as well as with the parent plant for the nutrients, for the sunlight, for the space, for the light, for the water. Since all of these are important for plants to grow, the growth of the plant is affected. So this is the major issues, this is the major cause that the seed dispersal is the effect. Actually seed dispersal affects the growth of the plant body. Okay, so this is the seed dispersal thing. Next thing is the formation of fruit. Next point is the formation of fruit. Okay, so already we have discussed the seed formation, how seed will form, the ovary formation, the ovule formation, already we have discussed. So next thing is the formation of fruit. Next point is the formation of fruit. Next topic is the fruit formation. So actually first you should know what is the basic definition of fruit. A fruit actually is formed after the fertilization as a result of cell division and differentiation in the ovary. Okay, I am repeating again, what is the basic definition of fruit? A fruit is formed after the fertilization as a result of cell division and differentiation in the ovary. Okay, so normally the wall of the ovary actually develops into the fruit wall called the pericarp, and it protects the seeds and helps in their dispersal. So this is very important point, that what is the basic definition of fruit? The fruit is actually formed after fertilization as a result of cell division and differentiation in the ovary. So that is, a repeat ovary forms a fruit. Okay, so next thing is that the wall of the ovary actually develops into the fruit wall. This wall is called actually the pericarp. Okay, which may be fleshy in nature like the guava, tomato, or the dry in nature like the pea, bean, mustard, all those things. Okay, and normally this fruit is having three types of layer: the epicarp layer, the mesocarp layer, and the endocarp layer. Okay, so the main important is the pericarp. So what is the meaning of the pericarp? The wall of the ovary which develops into the fruit wall, that's called the pericarp layer. And what is the basic function of the pericarp? That it actually protects the seeds and helps in the dispersal. Okay, next thing is the significance of the fruit formation. What is the basic significance of the fruit formation? Normally it protects the fruit. Normally it protects the fruit from the mechanical injury, and second thing, it also provides the nutrition to its own developing seedlings. Okay, I am repeating again, what is the main significance of fruit? That first one is the it protects the fruit from mechanical injury, and second, it also provides nutrition to its own developing seedlings. Okay, and apart from this, these fleshy fruits provide food to animals who also act as the dispersal agents of their seed, like the different kinds of the animals actually who perform as the dispersal agents of the seed. Okay, so this is the fruit formation. Next one is the next topic is the types of fruit. Next topic is the types of fruit. Already we have discussed the how fruit is formed. So now I am coming to the point, the types of fruit. What is the, how many types of fruit is there? So actually on the basis of formation of fruits, they are following two types normally, the true fruit and the false fruit. Okay, so what is the basic definition of the true fruit? That this fruit actually derived from the ovary of a flower which is not associated with any non-carpellary part is named as the true fruit. I am repeating again, the fruit derived from ovary of a flower which is not associated with any non-carpellary part is termed as true fruit. Okay, like the mango, like the tomato. So other floral parts degenerate and the fall off. Okay, and I am coming next to the false fruit. What is the basic definition of the false fruit? That these kinds of fruit actually derived from ovary along with the other accessory floral parts like the thalamus is called the false fruit. Example is the apple. Okay, so this is the true fruit and false fruit. I am again repeating myself. What is the basic definition of the true fruit? That these kinds of fruit actually derived from ovary of a flower which is not associated with any non-carpellary part, that's called the true fruit. Okay, example is the mango. And next thing is the false fruit. So these kinds of fruit actually derived from ovary along with the other accessory floral parts like the thalamus, that's called the false fruit. Example is the apple. So this is very important for your 1 to 2 marks question, that what is the basic definition of the true fruit, what is the basic definition of the false fruit. Next thing is the another important topic is parthenocarpic fruit. This is the another type of fruit is there. That what is the basic definition of the parthenocarpic fruit? That these some kinds of fruit actually develops without undergoing any fertilization, I am repeating again, some fruits develop without undergoing any fertilization. Okay, so these are called the parthenocarpic fruit. Example is the banana. Okay, so this type of question may come, that why banana is called the parthenocarpic fruit, why apple is called the false fruit. So this type of question may come. So go through this portion properly. Okay, for your 1 or 2 marks question, this type of question may come. So what is the basic meaning of the parthenocarpic fruit? That these kinds of fruit actually develops without undergoing any fertilization. So there is no fertilization takes place in the plant's body, but the fruit is formed. So this type of fruit is called the parthenocarpic fruit. Example is banana. Okay, so the process of formation of fruits without fertilization in plants is called the parthenocarpy. I am repeating again, the process of formation of fruits without fertilization in plants is known as the parthenocarpy. So it can be, so what is the basic implication of this parthenocarpy in the flowering plant's body? So it can be induced through the application of growth hormone, and such fruits are seedless actually. So how this parthenocarpy actually takes place in the flowering plant's body? By the introduction of some the growth hormones. So there are several growth phytohormones are there in the plant's body. So by those hormone artificially we can generate, we can reform this parthenocarpic fruit, but these fruits are always will be the seedless. Next thing is the some special mechanism of reproduction. This is the last topic for today. This is the last portion of this chapter, that the some special mechanism of the reproduction. Although actually seeds in general are the products of the fertilization. Okay, but a few flowering plants have evolved a special mechanism to produce seeds or to develop many embryos from a single fertilized egg. So I am repeating again, that we all know that seeds in generally the products of the fertilization, we all know that, but a few flowering plants have evolved a special mechanism to produce the seeds or to develop many embryos from a single fertilized egg. So these are the some special mechanism of the reproduction. The first one is the apomixis. Okay, what is the meaning of the apomixis? That it's actually a form of the asexual reproduction that mimics the sexual reproduction and produces seeds without the fertilization. So this is the main important thing, that without fertilization, that it does not involve any formation of the zygote through the gametic fusion. It occurs in some species of the grasses. So some grass species are there who actually are not involved in this fertilization process, but seeds are forming by this plant. So this type of procedure is called the apomixis process. So normally these kinds of apomictic seeds are viable seeds produced without pollination or the sexual reproduction. Okay, next thing is the polyembryony. What is the meaning of the polyembryony? So it's the actually the occurrence of more than one embryo in a seed. So what is the meaning of the poly? Poly means the many more. Poly means the many or more. Okay, more than 2 to 3. So it's actually the occurrence of more than one embryo in a seed. In gymnosperm, it can occur due to the cleavage of growing embryo. Example is the onion. So normally this apomixis, normally this polyembryony is extensively used in the hybrid seed industry. Normally this apomixis, this polyembryony actually used in the hybrid seed industry. Okay, so as production of the hybrid seed is costly, this is not the natural process, this is the artificial process. So that's why this procedure is the costly procedure. So if hybrids are made into apomixis process, so there is no segregation of characters in the hybrid progeny. So then the farmers need not to buy any hybrid seed year after year to produce the growing seed, to produce the actually the new seed. Okay, and can use this apomictic seed to raise the new crops every year. So this apomixis or polyembryony is good for the poor farmer. Why? Because they can use these apomictic seeds to raise the new crops every year. So these two special mechanism of reproduction is very good, very actually the handy procedure for the farmer also. So this is the last topic from this chapter, and I think all of you understood properly. So from this video we came to know the first thing is the seed dispersal, the advantages of seed dispersal, the significance of seed dispersal. Next thing is the how fruit is formed in a flowering plant's body, the types of fruit. Next thing is the significance of the fruit formation, and the last one is the some special mechanism of reproduction. So from this slide actually, the especially this from this slide, so there may be this type of question may come that why farmers are actually preferring this apomictic seed. Okay, so I think you can write all those answer, or what is the meaning of polyembryony, what is the meaning of the apomixis, what is the meaning of the parthenocarpy, what is the meaning of the parthenocarpic fruit, what is the basic difference between the true fruit and the false fruit. So all those things I think you can write if you go through this video properly. Okay, so thank you. Please go through each and every videos properly, and there are total 7 parts are there of this chapter. Total 7 videos I have made, so I think all those videos quite helpful for all of you, and go through this properly. And in the meantime, if any queries are there, don't hesitate, ask me immediately. Okay, thank you, bye.